And joining me now for more on this is former U.S. Attorney for the District Court of the Northern District of Georgia, B.J. Pak. B.J., thanks for being here. We appreciate your time today. You know, police haven't ruled out hate crime charges in this case. So what are they looking for there? What might they find that would result in hate crime charges?
So far, what's been publicized is the defendant's own statement and reasons why he did this. Law enforcement generally go back and look at all evidence that they could find to indicate motive. For example, social media research and talking to witnesses and people who knew him best to see if he had any expressed certain type of biases or express some kind of racism. And that type of evidence usually comes about later on in the investigation. And when all the investigation is done, that's when the prosecutors could evaluate whether or not there's sufficient evidence to bring a hate crime charge.
Now, after the death of Ahmaud Arbery last year, Georgia passed a new hate crime law. What is in that law, and how do you think it might play a role in this case?
The new hate crime law gives a sentencing enhancement and a mandatory minimum prison sentence if, in fact, that the government could prove that the assault, or in this case, murder, was done with some type of venomous or perceived kind of status. For example, if it's perceived to be foreign, national origin, or based on sex, that the hate crime statute will be triggered. It is a burden that the prosecution has to prove. But prior to that law, we didn't have a statute. So in this case, there's a new law that has yet to be tested, but this might be an appropriate case to do that if the facts bear out that the intent was motivated partly by racial animus.
And we know there's been a spike in violence against Asian Americans across the country this year. What needs to be done to stop these crimes on a broader scale?
You know, the violence has been going on for decades, and it just a recent phenomenon that is coming to front and center. You know, it's very disturbing. One of the things that we could do is we have kind of relied on just traditional stereotypes and stereotyping people and not taking the time to really understand the background and culture. And when you have an environment where, you know, the pandemic has added a lot of stress and people are looking to cause blame or get angry, they misdirect that, you know, to certain groups. And I think that's what you're seeing right now, the spike in the violence and hate incidents against Asian Americans. The perpetual foreignness that are associated, or at least people think, when they look at somebody that's Asian American, is certainly perpetuating the incidents of hate.
Now, as a Korean American, what are your concerns about this rise in discrimination and violence, and how do you hope to see the justice system handle it?
You know, it's very disturbing. It has driven kind of the general nervousness that people in my community feel. It's so random, these type of acts of violence. So you don't feel safe sometimes doing normal things that you used to do. What we expect from the justice system is a full, thorough, and a thorough investigation into all the facts surrounding this and to determine whether or not there is evidence to prove that there's hate. And if there is, we demand that they try to consider that and then just bring justice for the victims. And also respecting the privacy of the victims in this case. And one thing that I am very concerned about is the victim shaming in terms of, you know, getting into the stories of what these victims were doing at particular types of businesses. That's a distraction. And so I think we need to focus on the cause and the motivation behind why these things are happening and why these victims were senselessly killed.
All right, former U.S. Attorney B.J. Pak, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Diane.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.